think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. You know, I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wants to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Our goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man. Whew. Y'all been watching boxing lately? You've been keeping your eye on the sport. Somebody let me know. We are in the building. And again, at this point in time, man, in my YouTube boxing talk career, I understand that the things that I deliver, the flavor that I be spilling, is not really made for me to get the congregation jumping for joy. And it's not for me to play the villain. What it's really all about is me putting stakes in the ground, me spilling that truth, and me giving the pulse of boxing. Like, at any given point in time, I can tell you what's going on in the sport as it relates to whatever that's important to the sport. And the question of the day is Turki and Eddie making American boxing great again. That's the question. Like, that's the question. Like, making American boxing great again. You have a rating under there. You got Eddie and you got Turk. Who are you talking about, Mike? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? But let me do something real quick. And I know how it is, so I got to. I got knee pads for sale. But I'm a believer in protect yourself at all times. I got knee pads, I got napkins, I got bibs, customized if you want them. Protect yourself at all times, but there's nothing more befitting, and I do not own the rights. But I'm gonna have to let it ride.
The Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus. The most influential philosophical work of the 20th century. That soldier was called Ludwig Wittgenstein, man who set the limits on our thoughts. The enigma that he tried to decipher was the following. Can we know the truth? All the great thinkers throughout history have sought a single certainty, something which no one can refute, like 2 and 2 make 4. In order to find that truth, Wittgenstein used, in fact, mathematical logic. What better means of obtaining a certainty than an immutable language free from the passions of man? He advanced slowly, using equation after equation with impeccable method, until he reached a terrifying conclusion. There is no such truth outside of mathematics.
Today's mathematics, and a lot of y'all be trying, but you don't have it. And you can reach hard for it, and you can try, you can aim, you can overextend yourself, but you just will never grasp it. Outside of the passions of man. Cookie Monster, Bodywork, sounding good. Thanks for that sound check. Cookie Monster. But listen, man, I gotta go right back into the curriculum, man, because I see a lot of people, man, breaking out definitions and reading and jacking the style. However, I'm gotta be the one to come back and break it down. This is them fruits and veggies, not them Reggies. And I know this is not gonna be something that's gonna have the congregation jumping for joy, but oh boy, it's something I gotta talk about, because I'm not gonna deny. I'm not gonna be one of these people who say, oh, I'm not a fan of a man, I'm just a fan of the sport, and then everything you hear them say be coming up short. Like, I don't be understanding. Like, everything that they be saying be contradictory. You know, I mean, you can break it down or choose the opposing end and keep a banter, a back and forth going all of the time. But most of the time, we got to get down to what my man said in the Oxford Murders. Can we get down to the truth? Void of the passions of man. I've been starting to see that a lot of people, man, they just don't even like to hear the truth, man. It's like, man, like, how are you mad at the truth? Like, how are you mad at a fact that is an actual fact? Because a lot of people like to be online, oh, facts, artifacts, Equifax. And then when you show them, they be like, what? Acting all remedial and all that. Cookie! Salute. Bodywork. You know I gotta come back and do that body work. And it's a Friday, man. That's why sometimes I say, look, I could do a little video, then I can go a little live, and I can really break it down on what's going on about the pulse and how I see everything. And so I said, okay, cool. It's Friday. You know what I'm saying? Let he who has ears to hear, hear. And say, hear ye. But I'm just thinking about this thing, man. And you know, I was one of the ones that actually said, man, let's evaluate the whole situation with young Turk, you know, getting his feet wet, respectfully. I said, let's sit back and evaluate. Let's, you know, like how we do in life, how we don't just blindly just take and just jump on the bandwagon and just, or some of us, you know what I'm saying? I don't know everybody's personal life, but some of us, man, we are still in that stage to where we are still touching that oven to see if it's hot. And it's still hot, but they still going to do it, believe it or not. It just is what it is. So, when I'm thinking about Big Turk, right, I always said, and I've been referencing this whole time, that this is what's going on. Like, it's a stark reality. Like, people don't really want to understand, and they want to kick against the pricks, and they want to say, oh, Mike, you're a hater. And it's like, okay, cool. Call me what you want, but I'm still spitting the truth. I just sit back and listen, because I don't try to deny the fact that I'm still a boxing fan at the end of the day. I'm a boxing fan and happen to do content. Respect it or not, like, hear it or not, like it or not, I'm just gonna spit the truth. And we have a lot of tribalism going on. Like, I'm starting to see it, man. It's clear as day. Why? Because people don't keep the same energy. People don't keep the same energy. And when it comes down to this guy, we're just now hearing and seeing things where his twin salute, Bodywork salute to all, salute his twin. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming back through. But there are things that's going on, and a lot of people actually have their emotions involved with this. You know, and I see it in a couple different ways. I see it like, oh man, you're just trying to dash somebody's hopes and dreams. Like, you're just trying to just rain on somebody's parade. You know, it's like, no, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is do the same thing that the other guy is doing. You know how like two people could have the same end goal in mind, but they got two radically different ways on how you should get there, and that's how it should be. But people don't look at everything, but I look at everything from previous business experiences, life experiences, you know, just living, just being here for 43 years, you know, like just going by what I've seen, what I've been able to record, what my faculties can still register and put back out there in a way that's palatable. You know, I tend to like, I don't know. I was one of them people that I was upset when they stopped making old-fashioned grits. Like, you can't go everywhere and get the old-fashioned grits because now you got the 5-minute grits. Got grits in a bag. You know, I grew up on the old-fashions. Like, them guys take some time, but if you know what you're doing, you know, they always gonna come out right. Always. Like, but they old-fashioned. Like, I just grew up with it. 12/20/1980, baby. So it is what it is. I'm used to doing things in a certain way. I like to sit back and look and wait and watch and listen and record and analyze. You know what I'm saying? I try not to use emotions. Try to deal in all things that can be proven, and then use discernment. And I've been analyzing like the whole move of Turkey, and I'm divided. Because I said, you know what? If he is what everybody say that he is, and he's the bag to where he eliminates the money excuse, I said, okay, cool. That's what we need. That's how we should be getting down. If that's what he is, if he's the bag that to where everybody say, oh, it's the bag, this is why it's not happening. If we were to the point to where he interjected himself and he was like, look, man, we're going to get to see what we want to see, and all that whole ain't enough money, I got that. I'm rich Unc. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it on. I'm going to pay the tab. We'll worry about everything after that. That's how it was presented. And that sounds good up front, but we all been around some people that done had money and had wealth, and been around some people that don't mind splurging and spending, but we forget all of that when we get on boxing YouTube. Like, we abandon all logical reasoning in our outside lives. That's why I always be talking about gaslighting all the time. Because a lot of people don't, they get online and they get on YouTube and they abandon all logic or reason. Like, the truth don't even matter. You just hear like drones and bots. They just repeat the same thing over and over again. I guess they think that if they say it for the 5th time, it's going to register more, even though it's not a whole truth. It could be truth in it, but it's not a whole truth. And I was saying, like, we got to look back at what the Trojan horse was. It comes bearing gifts. It comes looking grand. It's like, all right, we're getting praises. We're getting just due. We're getting celebrated. But in hindsight, what did you do? You got invaded. You got persuaded. And now you in the back of a van with your wrist tied up around your ankles, and you getting heavily persuaded. Not in a good way. And you feeling jaded. I mean, we don't really see, because we don't really be thinking like 6, 7, 8 steps ahead. We just instant gratification, like the microwave grits I was just telling you about. Some of us like the old fashions, like, nah, man, ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't nothing. We don't cook in the microwave. Champion Sports Boxing. Salute Bodywork. Salute Champion Sports Boxing, man. Glad to see you. But we're not looking at it. We be so stuck on instant gratification and what can you do for me right now? Can it go down? Some of y'all still going out there crashing out on the first night. That's how we do. At first sight. All they gotta do is be surrounded by big lights, have jewelry on, flashing big cash, and you going. And you don't even know that's gonna be your last night. But you ready to take flight. So you ready to do daggone near anything at the possible, because you thirsty. Boxing left us thirsty. So any solution, we like, yeah, we want that. We do this and that. But some of us who've been around, if you've been around for any time, you got to sit back, wait, watch, listen to the methods that are going on. Then you'll truly understand. But a lot of people are giving a lot of credit and they didn't do the math. So if you didn't hear it, I'm gonna play it one more time and I'm gonna break it down. Like I'm gonna play this one more time and then I'm gonna break down what I'm talking about as far as the math. We're gonna go over some recent history and we're gonna actually see if these guys are making American boxing great again. We're gonna see. But I'm gonna play this again and then we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna come out and we're gonna get into it.
Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, the most influential philosophical work of the 20th century. That soldier was called Ludwig Wittgenstein, man who set the limits on our thoughts. The enigma that he tried to decipher was the following. Can we know the truth? All the great thinkers throughout history have sought a single certainty, something which no one can refute, like 2 and 2 make 4. In order to find that truth, Wittgenstein used, in fact, mathematical logic. What better means of obtaining a certainty than an immutable language free from the passions of man? He advanced slowly, using equation after equation with impeccable method, until he reached a terrifying conclusion. There is no such truth outside of mathematics.
That's it. Outside of mathematics, keeping records, score, binary, a 1 or a 0. You got people consciously getting paid, I don't know, thousands or millions of dollars telling you, oh man, don't listen to those stats. Don't listen to those numbers. Like, do you not know that that's mathematics? It's a written record. But one of the greatest things they've been able to do with us is make us abandon our critical thinking skills, man. Everything is cookie cutter. You want everybody to break it down and you know, pretty much chew it up for you and then put it in your mouth and you can just digest it. Like, you don't critically think about nothing. This guy's a Trojan horse. Like, yeah, it can be some good, it could be some benefits. Even if he has breached the gates and established some kind of foundation or some kind of attachment, even if you recognize that it's a Trojan horse, it don't have to end up all bad to where the village get burned, where the women and children are in danger. Like, it don't gotta end up like that if you start using your critical thinking skills and put him along with every other promotion on the same scale. Those who don't know their history are doomed to repeat it. That's why I be thinking that sometimes, man, the stuff that I was going over and covering, I was like, man, they don't need it. But like, yeah, they do. They do. Because there's still people that are stuck. Like, you can tell a lot of people right now in the same, you can tell somebody true, fact. Like, non-fiction. The story of the Trojan horse is told in the Odyssey, in book 2 of the Aeneid, a Latin epic poem by Virgil. And I said, how ironic when it was right before Virgil Ortiz when I last read this. The term Trojan horse has also come to be used metaphorically to describe any trick or stratagem that allows an enemy to enter a protected place. For example, a malicious computer program that tricks users into running it is also called a Trojan horse. You can be offended by me or not, but that's what they call it. I'm just privy to the knowledge. That's all this is. Like, don't abandon your critical thinking skill. Don't just take what everybody is telling you and running with it. In computing, a Trojan horse, or simply Trojan, is any malware that misleads user of its true intent by disguising itself as a standard program. The term is derived from the ancient Greek story of the deceptive Trojan horse that led to the fall of the city of Troy. Eureka. Now, recently it's been told that this man was the head of a soccer league, right? And he grabbed hold of it or whatever, and because of the backlash and whatever, and all of the measuring stick contests, you know how when people that's in position of power, like when they can't get along and they too smart for their own good, and they can't, just see themselves through and just agree to disagree and move on for the better sake of the bigger picture, which is everybody wins and gets paid and goes home and lives richer. They start acting like Little Richard, acting all sassy, going at each other, doing something crazy, getting ahead of themselves. We call that a measuring contest. It's like, how when you want to everybody get along and then everybody got to show how bad they are, how big they are. So they call it a measuring contest. That's what this man's been doing. He's been going around having a measuring contest. And nobody's saying it, because anybody he comes into conflict with, he's having a measuring contest. Now, I know you've been around snobby people who had money and did things and was able to do a whole lot of things, but it was some things that they were not able to do based on their big bag, and you saw how they was able to react and how everything was going. You've seen this before. We've seen this movie before. You know how aristocrats act when they can't get what they want. What was more serious is when you see how when stuff get really real, and it's not just on filmy film. We talking about millions and billions of dollars in enterprise and something that the mafia used to control. And we talking about enterprise, like we talking about deep veins, and everybody was just willing to just go over the Red Sea and just part cheeks. And I was like, Eureka! How unique. I'm like, man, like, are y'all really just willing to just do that? Like, whatever. Okay, so, Mike, what are you getting at? If you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? If you listen, I'm going to tell you. If not, catch the playback. Because everybody want everything right now. Everybody's looking at everything that's happening right now, but it's only when it comes to either their favorite fighter, their favorite boxer. Like, politics as usual is always usual. That's why I say tribalism, and then somebody coming in with this false sense of a bag. It's like having a rich uncle who could say, you know what, if you want to do this and this and that, if money is the problem, holler at me. And then you get them behind you, and then what you really want ain't happening, and you like looking back like, damn, I'm getting paid, so I can't complain. So what am I mad at? And people who've never been successful in anything in life have the most to say because they live vicariously through everybody else. And I'll digress, but we got to let that sink in. There's a lot of people living vicariously through a lot of other people because they've never experienced a certain level of success in anything. like winning anything. So that's like their win is their hero's win is their win. You got to understand that. So their solution is anybody that comes along with a big enough bag will have them in the back of that van, bent over, out of shape, and looking sad. Like, that's just the reality of it. So everybody was enamored by what happened, and I'm like, okay, cool. Mike, you procrastinated. Getting to the facts. It's like, okay, I am. But you gotta wait. You gotta wait. This ain't instant gratification, and I would enjoy if you came back and you just sat back and you just listened when you had nothing else to do. You just heard what I was actually saying, because yeah, you can get swept by with emotions and opinions and all of that kind of stuff. I don't try to do that. I know it's not gonna have the congregation jumping for joy. I'm aware of that. My only goal is to keep my channel intact. And you gotta love that. Stakes in the ground. Turkey is showing his hand. But there's data out there. There's data. I'm gonna grab my journal. I'm gonna look at, we're gonna go back and we're gonna look at the fights, and we're gonna start breaking all of these down, and we're gonna really talk about mathematics. We're gonna talk about binary. We're not gonna talk about emotions, because this person is this, and because you have so much hope in that, and you're not really looking at the facts. Everything that you say is an opinion, and it's whack. This is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. Anything, any kind of objective you have, we're gonna go over that. Let's go over the paperwork. I don't know where y'all want to start at, but I'll start, I guess, wherever I want. I just want to jog your memory of some things. That's what I really want to do. Let me start by jogging your memory on some things, right? First of all, when Devin Haney, let me come out. Because people are probably thinking I'm, let me see. Let me let y'all know that I'm here. I'm here, okay? Might not be in front of the camera, but this is my Eddie in-house background right here. So I might not be in front of the camera, but I'm back here doing work because everybody's microwaving the research, and I had to stop and gather data, and now I'm here. So I'm here. Don't go nowhere. Just listen to the program and let me break down these mathematics, because we already heard what my man said. I think I played it twice already. Don't make me play it again. But there are no solitary facts that don't involve mathematics, and I'm going to break it down. This is where we at right now. This is the question right now. Let me give you just a little teaser. But this is what everybody's wondering right now. The 154, why the push now? Why the push now for Jerron to go to 154? That's very interesting, ain't it? Like, if you look at it, like, everybody and their mama is asking for Jerron Ennis to go to 154 right now, and I'm like, golly, this is a whole nother story. But I said, man, I gotta ask a question: is Sheik and Eddie making American boxing great again, or what is the real agenda? Because I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, cool, because Boots is over there with Matchroom. The people that's in my background, like Cruz, he was over there with Matchroom. Richardson Hitchens, he was over there with Matchroom. And Mo Williams, he was over there with Matchroom. And what happened? What happened to Ammo Williams? Yikes. Hamza, Shiraz, the real Hamza. Shiraz, what happened? And Austin was in my boxes to watch. He was one of my rising prospects. What happened to him? Raymond Ford, Nick Ball. What happened to Raymond Ford and Nick Ball? Richardson Hitchens and Gustavo Lemos. I say that win aged very well. My man put it off, never hit the canvas. Showed dog. He got ripped and he was under the IBF mandatory rehydration because he was campaigning to be in the line for the Subriel Matias belt. But he was one of the boxers that came out and said he was honest enough to say, listen, I'm under the IBF. I want to see how I feel. He got shattered on. That's why I say people don't really want the truth. Gustavo Lemo's stock went up even though he lost. People shitted on Richardson Hitchens and then praised Devin, and we're not going to get off into that saga. But what happened to Richardson Hitchens? He fought. He won. We just now about to hear about him again, but we're hearing about Richardson Hitchens going against Sergey Lipinets. Now, Lipinets got history, but where's Lipinets from? Where's Lipinets from? Where's his stock? Boots. He went up against Avanesian. Where's Avanesian from? Is he from America? Now Boots did his thing. 14K plus. I never like to talk about another man's number. Just like Jack Nicholson said, never rub up against another man's rhubarb. I don't want to talk about another man's numbers. Like the gaff. He did more than what Shakur did in Philly. I talked about it before because my man Crush the Legend said it's very, very hard to get those kind of numbers in Philly. It's hard to get people to come out, and he did that in his own backyard. So yes, it was in the best interest of Boots. I can give him credit for that, but he was fighting Avanesian. And outside of Avanesian, it was Cody Crowley, who is Canadian. So in the grand scheme of things about making American boxing great again, that's the evaluation. And that's really our best interest at the end of the day, even though we recognize talent. But it's funny when we recognize talent elsewhere, like anyway, and we bring that into the equation, people play patriotic. So let's keep it all patriotic today. And we're saying, are these guys making American boxing great again? Because the recent reports are that Jaron might be fighting Karan Chukajajian again. Where is he from? Now Jaron's from over here, but where is he from? And we also hearing, man, heavily rumored, heavily stated, heavily talked about, heavily debated that Shakur Stevenson is fighting Joe Cordina. Now it will make somebody like, I actually like Joe Cordina, man. I like his fighting style, I like where he at, I like what he was doing. Like, you know, I've seen him. And you know, I like his style. But that's not, we didn't really want to see him against Shakur. We didn't. That was not something we were asking for. But everybody who just want to be down, part of the tribalism and all that, they're gonna let that be bypassed, and they're gonna turn a blind eye to it, and they're gonna act like they don't realize that that's not in our best advantage. One, Joe Cordina got stopped. 2, he's coming from a lower weight division, moving up off of a loss. After that, the last guy, Artem, he got Artem off of a loss. So when I look at it, at the end of the day, the mathematics says that Turkey is getting ready to finance 2 fights, or Eddie Turkey, however you want to, they all in, however it works. Between Eddie and Turkey, Shakur Stevenson is getting ready to fight Joe Cordina, who's not an American and not in a fight that any Americans were asking for or seeing on the radar, even though we like both of those guys' skill set. Not a fight we were asking for. Is it a fight we mind seeing? Something different. Not a fight we're asking for. He's between Eddie or Turk. They're financing that. And then after that, they're financing Zepeda. Zepeda is Mexican. And he's a mandatory, which is a good fight between Shakur and all that as well. But we all know that at 135, the biggest fight that could be made was Tank and Shakur. So what they are actually doing is financing an opportunity. Because this is not all etched in stone or in concrete. But what they're doing is financing an opportunity to where if what they say and what they finance is embodied in physical form and manifests itself in a real fight or an event, it's going to be contrary to what American boxing fans wanted. That's mathematics. I don't know. You can massage it or spray some perfume on it or put lipstick on it. However you want. That's the facts of the matter. We just talked about Ammo Williams. We talked about Subriel Matias? Now, I don't disagree. But in the history, if Puerto Rico is part of the United States, Eddie signed Subriel Matias. He was not guaranteed a Devin Haney. He was not guaranteed a Richardson Hitchens. I think he was guaranteed a Regis. But it was a 5-fight deal and we didn't know all of the names. And next thing you know, he fights Liam Paro, and now that belt is over there with Liam Paro. That's the history. I can divide that from the history of people saying, oh man, Eddie will set you up to lose your belt. That was disproven when Boots just fought Avanesian. That was just disproven. But there are a number of people that say Eddie will set you up to lose your belt. And in this instance, Subriel Matias was set up in a situation where he went over there, didn't know all the names, came up against a Liam Paro, whom he underestimated and got outworked by and lost his belt. That is a fact. That does not separate me from being a diehard Subriel Matias fan. That's a fact. I can separate that. So if Puerto Rico was part of America, we took another loss. When we look at Jared Big Baby Anderson here recently, the next big thing, the next one up, he fight Bacoli, and now people are no longer wondering whether he's the next big thing up. He still might be the guy over in the U.S., but mathematics is mathematics, and it's binary. It's either an O or a line. So Americans lost. Bacoli, wherever he's from, they won. American boxing. Salute, Pimp. Salute, Smoke. What's going on? Salute. Raymond Savage Ford. He fought in 5v5 against a guy named Nick Ball. Not sure how long the negotiations was. This and that. He fought on Riyadh. Guess what happened? He lost his strap. So New Jersey, that was New Jersey against where Nick Ball from. Boxing fans, boxing hardcore, where Nick Ball from? Where he from? America was down bad again. So then, on a larger scale, people say, oh man, well, man, how you gonna be mad at Turkey? And this is separating emotions. How you gonna be mad at Turkey? Well, all he's trying to make, and all he did was make the best fight the best. So we got Usyk versus Fury, where's Usyk from? Where is Fury from? Eureka. Even though that got mixed up because Ngannou almost messed up those Fury plans, had the judges got it right, and then Dubois really messed it up, had the referee counter that true body stoppage when Dubois did that body work on Usyk and they messed that up. But either way, I mean, if you were an American boxing fan in the grand scheme of things, as far as the sport, yes. But in American boxing, which is the topic of today, Americans are still down bad. Virgil Ortiz, Boychuk. A lot of people don't believe Virgil won. Tough fight. Bud against Madrimov. I don't really know what more. I mean, other than a title, other than saying, okay, cool, they awarded you a title. I'm not sure what that performance or what that really did to really like rocket boost Bud or do anything. It made everything more questionable. You actually had people watching that fight and saying, oh, well, after seeing that, he talking about he gonna knock Canelo out. Well, shoot, this guy at 54, if he couldn't knock him out, like going up 2 more weight classes to see Canelo, like kiss the baby. You know what I'm saying? That's what word on the street was. Don't get mad at me, man. The topic is making American boxing great again. So Sheikton came out and said, hey man, Canelo, you know, blah blah blah. Canelo was Mexican. He came out against Tank and was just like, hey man, we want real boxing, blah blah blah. Tank chatted back, give me 2 Ferraris, and everybody just shat on Tank. But then everybody wanted Tank versus Shakur. And for the longest time, if you've been watching my channel and you've been paying attention to what's been going on over here, I've been breaking it down. I've been saying the whole time, you know, you already know what I've been calling it. You already know what it's called. You know it's called the Cold War. You know it's called the Cold War. You already know that. And you know when it comes to me, like I'm Baltimore strong. Regardless. Like you already know. So knowing that it was a Cold War and that these guys were the guys that everybody wanted to see. Guess what? Like in the grand scheme of things, you can put cologne on this. You can put a bow tie on it. You can strap it up with some suspenders. You can put on some tap dancing shoes all around it. This is what the boxing public wanted, especially boxing America, especially like Baltimore, New Jersey, especially like Andre Ward and Bud Crawford. Like this is what the best. Like when you said like, okay, who's the best right now at 135? This is what from everybody from whack ass Paulie Manali, Chris Aldridge, from those whack motherfuckers over to somebody like Gilly and them, Cam and them. They wanted to see this. And at the end of the day, the reports, remember, I'm not a first party source. I'm not privy to the information. I just sit back and look all of the facts and I give you them fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. You don't have to pay no tax. I'm saying all that Turkey really did, according to my understanding, was finance another fight that was going to give Shakur a payday and not enough money or enough whatever savvy or confidence or whatever it was for him to get in the ring with Tank right now, but it's all Tank's fault. So then people say, oh man, okay, well cool. What did Shakur get? Oh man, he chasing the bag. He trying to build his profile. When he said he was talking gorilla to an ape in Tank, and now we find out he about to fight Joe Cordina. This will be the second guy that he's fighting coming off of a loss. And this guy, Joe Cordina, came off of a stoppage loss. And he's moving up. Do you realize that to this day, people are not even giving Tank any credit for Leo Santa Cruz? When Tank went down, which is the definition of pound for pound. We can go up and see Mario Barros and come down to see Leo Santa Cruz. You a bad man. Because everybody want to fight Mario Barrios. That's okay for Devin. That's okay if Boots was to get it. But Tank already stopped him with a body shot. And he went down to Cruz, but then that's bad. But Shakur, with no stern warning, no passion from the fans, no backlash from the fans. They say, oh man, that's just a stay busy fight for Zepeda. But last time I checked, unifications trump mandatories, and he would be defending his mandatory against Zepeda, but a unification would trump mandatory. You a free agent, and you going everywhere but over there with Tank to get this fight done if you really want it. And all his fans keep saying is he didn't send an offer. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Turki Al-Ashik is financing between Turki and Eddie. They are financing a fight that's getting between us and Tank Davis and Shakur. So if Tank Davis went to Loma and Loma's like, I went to see my family, I want family time, and then you see him out there in Riyadh season, and him and Shakur trying to create a moment, and they ain't catch no traction, Tank still getting blamed for it. Oh man, he didn't want Loma when it was early and all this, like any other reason but to say that the Loma just dug, and by all definitions, if all these reports that's coming out, Shakur is ducking, son. And I was a big Shakur fan. I still respect the skills inside the ring. So now, so when they do the ring work, I'm not an only fan. When they do the ring work, I'm not a fan up until Shakur Stevenson dip under the rope and he gets inside the ring. That's when I'm a Shakur fan. Once he dips up out of that ring and he goes everywhere else, I do not know the kid. That's just where I stand. I know Tank. I know that he's a complete fighter. I know him. I bet money. I get money every time Tank fight. And even if I don't get money, it wasn't him that let me down on the parlay. He's good money. I don't know what Shakur is. I don't know what this behavior is. I don't know what's going on in the sport of boxing when you state utter and complete facts and the fact that Artem came off a loss to Frank. Shakur did not stop him. He said he was going to stop him. He didn't. Then you got Andre Ward inviting him on the show and pacifying him and pretty much coddling him and telling him everything he wanted to hear just because he put on a set of gloves before. That's not what Shakur need to hear. I'm sorry. That's not what he need to hear. He need to hear like, look, man, don't overpromise and underdeliver. You mad about it? Go do something about it. And don't say F the fans and they need to look up the definition of boxing. The minute you start doing that, you need to stop it because you are the one that's making boxing topic. Now you done went over to a foreign plug, just like Devin Haney. When I mentioned Devin Haney, because I used no cut cards, I said, how the hell are you gonna get mad at the plug who was Floyd in them, the ones who you got the tutelage, the teaching? You go over to a foreign plug with Eddie in them. Then you go get with another foreign plug and Bob in them, and then you get mad at Tank in them and PBC and Floyd in them when they was over Tank and say that, oh, it was their fault that you didn't get the fight. I said, well, who you know leave an American plug Go get with a foreign plug. Then go get with another foreign plug. Then you don't even undispute under the guy, the foreign plug that built your profile up. You go give it to another guy. And then you don't even afford Shakur Stevenson a real opportunity, contrary to the narrative that everybody want to paint. You don't even give Shakur an opportunity to actually really give that strap. Everybody hit that 25% and they just run with it. And that be that. I don't really get it. I don't really understand it. But what Turkey did, I'm gonna tell you exactly what Turkey did. I'm gonna tell you exactly what Turkey did. Turkey just financed something, and we don't even realize it. We don't even realize what Turkey financed. We don't realize what Eddie financed. And hold on one second. Listen, if it is true, right, what's really going on, if it is true that Turkey or Eddie, if it's true that you know that Shakur is getting with Matchroom and he's going to get his Zepeda fight, ultimately, like in the grand scheme of things, that's a good fight. That's a good fight. Like Zepeda and Shakur, that's a good fight. But don't be confused by that being a fight we don't mind seeing. Like I was reminded, I was learning. That's what I'm doing. I said, hey, look, I gotta step back from some content. I gotta figure out what I'm not doing right. That's not gonna get me to stop telling the truth. That's not gonna get me to stop being me. But that's just letting me know, okay, cool. This is how they do that. This is how they flip this. This is how they spin that. This is how they thinking about this. This is how they doing that. It just helped me better understand the game. So when I do what I do, it just makes me feel even more confident about what I do, which is putting more and more stakes in the ground. And what I realize is that people really don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. It's not my fault. But we can go down the line and we can look at everything that's been happening, like from all of these fights and between the signings that Eddie had, because let's think about the signing. Richardson Hitchens was doing good. He had Bowser, he had this and this and that. But then when you think about it, Richardson Hitchens, when you think about Subriel Matias, he lost his thing. And the problem was, it wasn't that he came up against Liam Paro. The problem was Eddie signed him, and once he signed him, it was a big gap in the time frame in which anything was announced about Subriel Matias. I recall, because when I was one of the ones trying to help build Subriel's profile and giving people content, whether they wanted to acknowledge it or not, about Subriel and building his profile, during that time, we still didn't know what was going on with Subriel. I was saying, listen, man, it's really going to be Liam Paro, but I don't know why they won't let this man know, or unless he knew behind the scenes. I don't know why he won't let this man know and let the public know, so they can go in without the question of who I'm going to fight next and what I'm going to do next and how it's going to be. But we wind up getting the confirmation like rather late, closer to that fight when we actually knew that it was on and popping. Like, let's be honest about it. Sabril was the champ. Like, Sabril was the longest one at because people will misconstrue it and think because T.O. came back and got Ocampa and Ortiz and Josh Taylor and Steve Claggett, you would think that he'd been up there like the longest. Like, that's not true. Like, Sabril Matias had already made his bones there. He already been taking out a lot of people who had he not been there. A lot of the opponents he had would have taken out a lot of the people. I think a lot of them people will come back and take out a lot of them guys right now because they are awkward guys that you can't get access to every day in the gym. Like in football, you can't spell this running back because ain't nobody that got that kind of style that's going to be able to spell it like that. You might be able to get the power like this, but then the footwork ain't going to be like that. The awkwardness ain't going to be like that. You can't study or train for that. Sabril Matias took out a lot of them guys that a lot of these guys over here was avoiding. We just seen it. And as much as Richardson Hitchens is my man, we just seen it with him. He fought an eliminator for the IBF and didn't fight for it. And Liam Pyro stepped up and did his thing. And at the end of the day, Australia went away with a belt and Puerto Rico was without one. That's still part of America. North America. Boots. We got Boots versus Avanesian. Avanesian was from wherever he's from. Nobody want to care about him now that Boots beat him, but then right when he was about to fight Bud, everybody was hyping him up and telling him who he was, but then Boots stopped him faster than Bud, and people give him no credit for that. But then, because Bud did what he did to Kell Brook, they say they used to use that all the time when it came down to Errol Spence. When he stopped them faster than this, they did the same thing with Sean Porter. Well, Bud actually stopped Sean Porter, but that was after Errol Spence knocked his lights out. These things are the truth. But people want to act like these things didn't happen, and if you acknowledge these things, then you're just trying to lower the luster or do whatever. These are things that happen, man. It's part of history. It's recorded. These are the evaluations that we're doing. Matias should have had a rematch clause, especially feeling like Eddie wanted Pyro to win. Yes, he should have. I was shocked that he didn't have one. Shakur and Zepeda, the winner gets Tank. If that's how it's gonna work, that's how it's gonna work. I mean, I don't have no problem. Now they are avoiding Ryu. Meanwhile, they was calling out Rolly. Yeah, it's like weird energy because with like, listen, like with Shakur, I'm baffled with Shakur. I'm disappointed because at the end of the day, I still consider myself a Shakur fan. I'm just not a Shakur only fan. So I don't really get it where, like, if Shakur's showing you, like, if Shakur really fights Joe Cordina and wait for Williams Zepeda, after talking all of that noise about Tank and Tank this and Tank that, it's like you would think you would be beating down Tank door right now and saying, listen, I'll take that deal. I don't care about the money. Like, I know you saying it ain't a big fight. Just give me my shot. Like that's how you was talking. And now everybody just so passive was like, well, he's building his own path and he's doing this. Gaslighting. Listen, this man he's pulling the guy up from 130. Which, mind you, they don't give Tank no credit for Leo Santa Cruz, who was arguably a Hall of Famer, or Hector Garcia, who put an end to where everybody thought was Chris Colbert. He put an end to the hype around Chris Colbert, even though Chris Colbert was legit. We seen when he was able to outbox Ryu, and then he got stopped by Ryu. But we see how it was at 130. There was some disparity there. Like, there was some competitiveness there. They dismissed Hector Garcia. Tank literally made the dude go blind. And Tank is a smaller guy. Like, no matter what fight you talk about, Tank was the smaller guy. He might have been the shorter guy with Pitbull, but Tank was always the smaller guy. He gets no credit for these fights. But nobody's saying nothing about Shakur fighting. This is the second opponent where his opponent is coming off a loss. Tank would never be able to get away with that. Devin can get away with it. But people will shit on Tank and then ignore the facts around their favorite fighter when it don't match them. These are standards that Tank would never be able to get away with. That's why people get mad at me when I say I don't give a fuck who Tank fighting at. As long as when they get in there, he knock his ass out. He figure him out and knock his ass out. I don't care. Get to your bag, little duffel bag boy. Why? Because ain't nothing Tank can do that's going to impress or do anything with anybody. He's going to be one of them guys, like I always say, he's going to be one of them guys that once he hang up the gloves, that's when everybody's going to appreciate him. Right now, they just going to meet Rod and Glaze, all these other people, all these other champions, that when you look at the numbers and when you look at the situation, when these fight these guys, when you break down their resume, it's like they just want all the praise and all the glory without all the work. And it don't work like that. It don't work like that. So I'm looking at Shakur like, this is the second guy you're fighting coming off of a loss. Then on top of that, you're getting credit. You're about to get credit. If it is Joe Cordina, you're getting ready to get credit for pulling the guy up coming off a stoppage. And that's crazy coming from a guy who I actually like, Joe Cordina. I actually think he's a good fighter. Like, I think that it's some things he got to work on, but I like enjoy watching him fight. And I don't mind Joe Cordina versus Shakur Stevenson. It's just that the standard, since you the best thing since sliced bread, since you like you had Floyd, Ward, and Bud behind you. Clarissa Shields, whenever she speaks, they're backing you. And your next move is to fight a guy coming off of a stoppage loss, the second guy coming off of a loss, a stoppage loss, a weight below. And we're not getting you versus Tank. But it's Tank's fault, because he didn't send you an offer. When it's on record that your people were saying that his team reached out to your team. So what does that mean? They reached out to your team. But that's not good enough. Just know that between Eddie, let me paint the picture. Between Eddie and Sheik, they're financing this. And people say, "Oh man, Mike, they're giving us Bivol versus Beterbiev." Now, from a diehard, hardcore boxing fan, I'll say, yes, I salute. I give you I give you the glory for actually making that happen. Because that was very political. That should have been happened, but that was politics. If you look at the war situation, everything that was going on, they wasn't letting nobody that had any kind of affiliation with Russia do anything. So you can call that what you want. You can say, oh man, he made it happen, but the politics of boxing was already not making it happen when you go back and look at how long Beterbiev actually had that belt. Furthermore, Bivol versus Beterbiev is a fight that everybody's been wanting and everybody's been clamoring for a while, because they did want to have that undisputed. However, there has been numerous, don't make me pull up clips of people who were doing videos about how unlucrative that fight was, even though that was one of the best fights we could have seen. Why? Because there was no doubt that Bivol was good. But people started questioning and started bringing up this whole thing about Beterbiev and if Father Time is catching up to him. And now we're at a point to where it's been 2 times where he had to pull off for injuries, and now he's coming back. And we're finally getting that. So if anything happened, of course, you already know they're going to say that that's an excuse for Beterbiev. That's already out there on record, on wax. It's whatever today's date is. If you remember the time, this is the time that I'm actually saying it. He get full credit for it, but guess what? That fight didn't take place yet. And another thing, when we're talking about American boxing great again, neither one of them are American. Neither one of them. And I hate to bring this up now, but I have to bring it up. It was about 3 years ago. I was on Champ side. I called in the Champ side. I said it, and it's out there. It's on wax. You can't take it down. You can't stop it. You can't block it. It's already there. That's why I say, man, the stuff that I say and the stuff that I do, I stay consistent with my thoughts and views. I had told him, I said, listen, what you got to understand when it comes down to Eddie Hearn is that he has his own people best interest in mind first. And if you don't understand that, then you're not in tune with your own self, because that's a survival tactic. You're going to have you or your own at your best interest first before everybody. And I said on his show, I said, listen, what you got to understand is that Eddie's big thing is to draw in major attractions and major talents and then couple them up with people over there in those other regions. Like where he's from, in the surrounding areas in other countries outside of the United States, because they are global. Like they appeal more to those. They have a more diverse, so they don't have to be so big and concentrated on one demographic or one group of people or one country. Because they have a lot of different ones and they can be the quote unquote melting pot. I said, so what his game and his thing has been, and we can see it throughout history, is that he'll get big names, American attractions, and bring them over and pit them up against his guys and make big bread, because he gets paid on fights that are taking place over there across the pond. Well, where's Turkey? Over there across the pond. It was a match made in heaven. So anything Eddie can't really get on the books and do whatever, Turkey can be like, all right, look, I'll do this. You know what I'm saying? Let me just do this under Riyadh season and have my own flavor on it. Rightfully so. Caviar mTOR, K Sarah and all that jazz. It is what it is. But understand, Bivol versus Beterbiev, that's not American boxing. Like, yes, hardcore boxing and all that, but if we're going to stick onto the objective and we're going to keep it binary and we're going to stick to our mathematics, even Bud. We didn't get Bud versus Boots. Omaha versus Philly. Two of the best talents in the world. We got somebody that was going to cater to his guy. Madrimov, a guy with 10 fights in a professional fight, and he gets a title shot because he has a belt where he went and fought for a vacant in his last fight. Even though Shakur, no matter how ugly that win was over De Los Santos, they're not giving him no respect for Ekenbauer for that vacant over there. But Madrimov, off of 10 fights in his big legendary amateur career, get all this credit. And Bud gets all this credit for moving up and fighting a guy with 10 fights, which was his guy, a foreign guy. We didn't get Bud putting money in the back pockets of another American fighter. He won't even fight Boots. And when you go back and you listen to the record, it was because of Earl Spence that we got the Bud fight. So my question was always been, okay, so when is Bud going to reach back down and give back an opportunity to somebody that looked like him? People say I was hating. No. They found Turk. He got a big bag. This is the same bag to where it's interviews. You can pull him up. Well, Bud basically told Earl, hey, man, you know people got fire sticks. I got somebody that's willing to give me such and such and such of this right now, guaranteed. And Earl was like, what about the back end? He's like, man, pump the back end. If we get this and this and that, you know, people got fire sticks. If we get not guaranteed, and even if they don't get a profit or not, we got odds like they're going to be out. Like, basically, I ain't worried about all that. But his fans do. His fans be worried about it. His fans be more worried about how Bud getting his money than Bud do. Bud just going to get his bread. He's a shrewd businessman. Bud gonna get his bread. He don't give a, he de-gaff about fire stick and all that. He just want his bread and fight who he want to fight. And I understand that. I understand Bud in that manner. I just don't I can't let people get off the hook when they start over embellishing about the resume and the talent and this and that. I just don't get over that. But I understand, Bud. Get your money. If they gonna let you get it like that, Bud, get your money. Grab that bag. But when you say, oh man, all he really doing is just financing bigger bags for lesser opposition, and I be like, yeah, that's what he doing. Don't call me a liar. You just don't like the truth. You don't like the truth. That's all that is. Like, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That got more to do with you. So I'll give him a 3 out of 5. Right now, because at the end of the day, I can say that, hey, you signed some real materials. That means you put bread in that man's pocket. That means you changed his life. You signed Richardson Hitchens. You put him on in New York. You put his name up in lights. You built Eddie. You built Devin Haney's profile. I don't care what nobody say. Devin Haney went all around the world, and Eddie Hearn made him a star. I salute that part. You believed in him. But what did Devin do? Devin went and got undisputed under top rank and basically told you to kiss his ass. So I'm like, dang, that's messed up. But Eddie learned from that. So after that, he went and got boots. Hey, you went and got boots, put a bag in his pocket, put him back out there in Philly. And because of tribalism and people wanting to break the code whenever they want, all you hearing is everybody shitting on Boots. They shitting on Boots in favor of Terrence Crawford. And I'm like, damn, y'all some hypocrites, because you will talk about it all day about how everybody disrespecting Bud, but you don't want to look at the facts when it comes to Bud. You don't want to listen to no reasoning when it comes to Bud. You just want everybody to say he's the bestest ever and ever. He's a generational talent, and there's no question marks about Bud. The end. Okay, cool. Bud is the bestest ever and ever. He's pound for pound #1. His talent cannot be denied, and nobody ever on the face of the planet, whoever laced up a pair of gloves, will ever beat Terrence Bud Crawford. You happy? I said it. Now, there is a guy named Boots. And the reason why everybody's trying to make this big push, because I've heard, it's some people that I've heard talk about this shit, and it really gets up under my skin, because it's like, in 1 minute we want to talk about how much we know about boxing, and then we show how much we don't know shit about the business. And the thing is, right now, Boots is in between a rock and a hard place. You can't tell me the dude got like 32 fights? Like, how many fights he got? 29 knockouts, 32 fights, 29 knockouts. And I don't care if it was can after can after can after can. There's some people that got 10, 11, 12 fights, and Madrimov had 11 fights, and his knockout ratio wasn't higher than Boots. But he get all the credit, all the praise. And I don't even deem myself as the biggest Boots fan. Why? Because I put them all against the scale. Same way I did Devin Haney. But I'm still a fan of Boots. But I started saying, Mike, man, what's all this push for Boots to go to 54? People I'm hearing, they surprise me. He just need to go to 54. It's like a script out there, cuz. It's a lot of people out there on code talking about what's this push for Boots at 54. I'm going to tell you why. One, because Devin Haney is a weight bully. He has to go to 147. It's going to be a very, 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 very bad look if Devin Haney has to come back and campaign at 147, and at least 3 times a week we're going to hear shows about Devin Haney, and anytime somebody brings up him in Boots, they're going to act like it's unfair. It's unfair. And they're going to play that, what has Boots done? Who has Boots? Devin, listen, Devin came out and said, what has Boots done one time? I said, man, that's crazy. A guy that you have no will to fight. Everybody's calling out Mario Barrios. Let me remind you, I was the first one to say D block. People still in the whole theme with the whole black and white. I just seen this whole black and white scheme flip somewhere else. People using this whole black and white scheme doing a whole thing with this. I said this was D block, but people are always vying for this guy on the far right. Nobody talking about the second guy on the left or that guy Brian Norman right now. Nobody talking about them, and nobody really wanting to go up there and see Boots. But they telling you that 147 ain't nothing. I call bullshit. It's okay for Devin to come up and see that guy on the far right, Mario Barrios, which Mario Barrios, Tank didn't get no credit for stopping Mario Barrios to a body shot. Before that, this has been years ago. People didn't really, I don't know if people even gave Keith Thurman credit for beating him up and busting his face up the way he did. They damn sure ain't give Mario Barrios no effort, no credit for doing what he did to Santiago, how he whooped his ass, or the damage that Mario Barrios did to Ugis. But it's okay. It's okay for Devin to come up and fight Barrios, but they ain't saying shit about Devin and Norman, Devin and Stanionis, or Devin and Boots. And we're going to hear about it. We're going to get gas lit whenever that conversation happens. But why? This is what Devin Haney is one of the pushers, one of the reasons why everybody's pushing for Boots to go to 154. You want to know the other reason? The other reason why is there are a bunch of Bud only fans. Al Money, 100 boxing emoji, flame emoji. Salute Al Money, salute. I appreciate you. Thank you for that cash app. I appreciate you. Thank you, Al Money. But the other reason is, the reason why everybody pushing Boots to 154 is because, guess what? If Boots go to 154, right? Now they'll have something on the back end for this quest for Canelo to legitimize him. See, it was a sandwich that was created. See, by Boots calling out Bud all the time, and him being in the division, people saying, oh man, you shouldn't have got out of line, or you should have just waited, or you shouldn't have let them strip Bud, or whatever a Bud fan say, inserted. I actually heard that today on the show. I heard that on TBV, where a man called in and said that he waited for Boots to say, he waited for Bud to say this, and then he changed his mind right along with Bud. I said, golly. But then be quick to call somebody else a fanboy. I don't get it. But that happened, and I witnessed it, so I had to speak about it, and I don't agree with it. However, that's just how it is. So, as long as Bud can keep calling on Canelo, and he can get the benefit of saying, oh, he on his way out, he can fight who he wants. As long as he's calling Canelo, and Canelo saying, I don't want to fight you, there is nothing to book in Bud. There's no friction. There's no force. There's no opposite energy to force him to do anything. He's down to his only choice, which is Canelo. And his fans are saying, okay, cool. You've done everything you need to do in the sport. You beat the best of the best, and you're better than Floyd and Ali and Tyson put together, and Roy Jones ain't got shit on you, and Andre Ward, if he wasn't next to you, he'd definitely be below you. it's like it just gets uncharacteristic, man. It's like where you make people actually point out things and point out everything about fighters that make you seem like you hate them when you're actually pointing out actual facts. And you need to stop that. So they need Boots to go up to 154 to be the bookend, because as long as he has somebody like T.O. down low calling him, and then you got Boots calling him, and then he's calling Canelo, there's no pressure for him to do anything else but whatever he wants. And as long as he say, until I get Canelo, I ain't worried about nobody else, that's just wasted energy on the parts of Boots trying to chase him. Boots done wisened up. His team done wisened up. Wisened up. And they now realize that, just like Benavidez said, listen, man, I can't keep chasing this guy, Canelo, man. He's not going to fight me, man. Bud is not going to fight Boots. And the biggest bag, this was my thing. If the whole thing with my man on the right, was that he had the biggest bag, pause. No, did he? Why are we not getting Bud versus Boots? Why wouldn't we get, if Turkey got the biggest bag and Bud is with Big Turk, why we not getting Bud versus Boots? Cause Canelo busy. And Boots is easy work. So if he easy work, then Turk got a bag. Why we not getting Bud versus Boots? Oh, that just disproved that it ain't about belts and it ain't about the bag. It's just now it's legacy, right? So this is where the push for Boots to go to 154 is now. For, that's why everybody and their mother just coming out of the woodworks pushing this narrative. I'm talking about from aristocrats like Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Algieri, all the way down to like Bernie and a lot of the Bud Only fans that be rocking in on TBV. That's the big push. They need Boots to book in Bud so that they always have that pressure. That way, Bud can just do whatever he want. He on his fair world tour. I've already accepted. I don't hold Bud accountable for anything from here on out. Go on your fair world tour. Go on and get your money, little duffel bag boy. But I just don't like the slander that because people are so in love and infatuated with Bud, they don't keep it 100 with Boots. Because if he was easy money and Bud was doing money, he was getting Arab money. I'm getting Bin Laden money. Like he was getting Turkey al-Sheikh money, and he had access to the bag. Why are we not getting Boots again? Because he easy work. But he hasn't done anything to qualify himself for a Bud fight. And he's an email champ. I'm like, okay, well, keep that same energy. And this is why I say everybody pushing for Boots to go to 154, where I was saying that over a year ago. I was saying get ahead of the curve, be ahead of the curve. Already have fought in there to where they can't deny you because you've been and done something that made some noise. All his fans was like, no, he don't need to. He at 47, he up next. So now they're saying he need to go to 54, but they're a year late. Now I'm saying, listen, Boots, you fight under the IBF. And even though you a big boy, as long as your body is still able to do what it's able to do, you're living a lifestyle of a boxer outside of your sweets, your little, your Philly cheesesteaks, you know what I'm saying, your donuts from time to time. Outside of that, you good. Because when you rehydrate, you're not doing it like the other guys that's not under the IBF where you have a 10-pound rehydration. You're still under a 10-pound rehydration. As long as you can cut and then stay within that 10-pound rehydration, you're doing better. Other than now the WBA got the 12-pound rehydration, you're doing better than 50% You can say 75 because he's still doing better than the WBA. But if you want to consider the 12 pound instead of the 10 pound, you're doing better than at least 50% of the other sanctioning bodies by being able to fight in that weight class and do that. You're not one of them guys that will suck down and gain and go up 25. So you're still within your claim to be able to stay there because you can do it on a physical level under those constraints and still get the job done. So stay there, my friend. Stay there. Knock off these guys. Give Stanyanis what he want, and y'all be something. That might be a trilogy. Give Brian Norman Jr. what he want. That might be a trilogy. Knock off Mario Barrios. That might be a trilogy. Build your own name. Establish your own thing and get undisputed right here. Do not let them talk you off your square. Why? Because if it was a big enough bag, you would be fighting Bud next. But it's bigger than the bag. Fans need to be able to brag. And foot long their favorite fighter. That's what it's about. They need to be able to brag and put you down, and bruh. That's why I say I miss me with that cold stuff. Because if it was a big enough bag, we'll be getting Boots. Canelo don't want you. Okay, well, Turkey would be like, I got a big enough bag for you to fight Boots. That's what we all want. He over there with Eddie. Unless y'all all playing us. Unless y'all all playing us. But I know y'all all ain't playing us. Boots. Do not get caught up in this big push for them to prematurely make you go to 54. Why? Because they are going to, people in your weight class, until you actually make the fight and get these guys in the ring, they're going to say, just like Tio is saying, who has he fought? What has he done in the sport? They're always going, what name do he got? They're always going to be able to use that. This is your opportunity to go ahead and seal it up. I undisputed at 47. So then, whoever coming up or you going up, you can say, well, ain't no reason to avoid me now, because in the process of me undisputed, I done did 14K. I done did 13K. I done did 17K in Philly, in my own backyard. And I've been putting on stellar performances. So I've been building my legacy, getting the bag every time, and I actually got some accolade, because when it's all about talent and skills and who's the best, they jump over there. But then when they want to not equate for talent and skill, they say, oh, well, what accolades do he have? What name did he fight? And then to build their favorite fighter up, they'll shit on every other fighter just to build their fighter up, so that their favorite fighter don't have to have no consequences. There is no justification as to how they move. A la how Shakur's getting ready to move with this Cordina and Zepeda, as opposed to unification. Remember, unification trump mandatories. So this is not a mandatory. This will be a voluntary before a mandatory to avoid a unification. So that move was okay. So it's okay for Bud to keep saying Canelo, even though Canelo saying I don't want you, and Bud saying I don't want nobody but Canelo, and this and this and that, and avoiding Boots when he got Turkey on the side that got the biggest bag to where he could pretty much say what he want, get what he want, pay Boots what he want. And Boots, I think Boots just want that opportunity. He want that torch passing. So that's the push for 54 Boots. Don't get distracted, bruv. Don't get distracted. Knock these guys off now. This fight with Karan, this is going to be a good fight, because I think I gave Karan, I did a video about Karan. I got crucified by Bud fans. It's going to age very well, because I'm going to come back and play it, right? I'm going to come back and tell y'all how I was talking about the fight in real time, and why I caught all of the flack from all of the Boots only fans at that time. Who's going to come around full circle, especially if we fighting them again. That means that the first video I did will have a whole lot of credence. Because I just judge them on the performance like I do everybody else. Do not let them get you off track, Boots. Clean out 47. Get undisputed. And that way, no matter what name you fight after that, you can be like, look, he was the, and anybody that fights, you can say he was the undisputed champ. He was the baddest Mamma Jamma at 47 after Earl and Spence, after Earl and Bud left. And he went on his spree after that. But eliminate that. Do the same thing that David Benavidez is doing by getting one track mind and saying, listen, I want the winner of, you made a move. I want the winner of this. And I'm reposting my asthma. I'm not going to just keep attaching my name to this guy because this guy, it ain't a bag big enough for this guy to fight you right now. You know what I'm saying? And if you fight T.O., they're going to say you punching down. If T.O. willing to get in there with you, go ahead and punch down, Boots. Because that's a name. That's legacy. Go ahead and punch down, Boots. If Brian Norman Jr. want to step to you, go ahead and get it on with Brian Norman because that's a fight. Go ahead and get it on Stan Jonas. That's one of my guys. Go ahead and take that strap off of Mario Barrios. And lock it up. Lock up the division. Get the ring. Get everything you can because until then, they're going to continue to pull out this whoever you fought. What name do you got on your resume? Even though they'll discount Conor Benn for being a drug cheat. But they'll lift him up when they want to say you haven't even got him on your name. And when they lift up Keith Thurman when they want to, when Keith Thurman was saying he didn't even know who you was as a boxing analyst who was getting checks for getting paid for breaking down fights. That's why I say, as a civilian, don't come to me with about shit. When Keith Thurman was on wax saying he didn't know who Boots was at one point in time, and he was getting paid to talk about fights. Don't come at me about shit. Boots, stay at 47, clean it up, and move up to 54 when you get a chance. And I would say, listen, man. If anything, if you move up to 54, if you really want to grab your cojones, Boots, move up to 54 and say you want Jermell Charlo right now. He ain't got to fight. You ain't got to fight. Move up and say you want Jermell Charlo. If you're going to go to 54, go up to 54 and see the man. Go up to 54 and see the man at 54. Right now. Grab your nuts. If you're going to go, if you're going to forego, because that's legacy. That'll be legacy for you, Boots. That'll be legacy for you. Go up to 54 right now and say you want to see the man. Go up there and say you want to see Lubin. Ain't nobody trying to give Lubin a shot. Boxing is weird right now. But I just want to give y'all the reasoning because now I'm even seeing, I seen a preface or something a couple hours before I was getting ready to go. It was after I posted I was going to go live. I seen the alert where somebody was actually talking about it, and they was actually talking about how good it would be for Jermell Charlo to do such and such at 60. Everybody in there, and I'm going to do a video about that, this push for Jermell Charlo, because this is an underlying thing now, which is very, very weird. Where everybody is basically saying that they want Jermell Charlo to go to 60. I'm like, damn. Y'all want Boots to go to 54 for all the wrong reasons. Y'all want Jermell to go to 60. Why? Don't tell me it's because of Bud. God damn. I'm telling you, man, like, hey, top flight security of the world, Craig. Never known that for a top pound for pound. I got more faith in Bud than his fans do. I call him the closer. I just know he want to get to a bag. I'm like, well, if you got a rich unk with a big bag, you should be able to point out and be like, hey, shit. Well, fuck it. Like, give me little Boots. Give me a little. Let me go ahead and knock his Boots. Give me shit. Run me like 50 mil. Let me knock Boots in Philly, and then boom, easy work. But we know it ain't easy work. So listen, don't buy into everybody who's having this push for Boots for 54. What Boots need to do is clean out, look, D block. Clean out D block and then go to 54. Or call Jermell Charlo right now. Right now. You quiet. Jermell Charlo is he vocal. Jermell Charlo be outspoken. He'll sell a fight. You got your quiet Mystique. You know, Gillian Wallow, they'll sell it. If you gonna go 54, don't go to 54 unless you going up there to go see Jermell Charlo right now. Stop calling out Bud. Turkey ain't got a bag big enough to get Bud to get in the ring with you. But don't let them trick you off your square, which is to conquer D Block. Now, this is D Block. I said this is no longer the glamour division. This is rough, rugged, and tough division, and you're gonna have to earn what you keep in this division. This is like a Rocky movie right now. This is the closest thing to the row, only these are a division bigger men at 140. So if 140 is the row, this is the block, D Block. Conquer this, make a name. These will be the names right here. They all got belts. And by the time you unify them all, they all had their little wars or mix it up, however they mixed it up. Conquer this and then go to 54 or get Jermell Charlo. Now, I can go down. Because listen, I got my journal. I got everything from January to right now in here with every fight that was of pertinent information. I can go down here and I can actually tell you whether or not Eddie and Turkey made American boxing great again. I can come up with 1,000 reasons as to why American boxing took a hit. But I can also acknowledge that they infused a passion, a vigor. They attracted some different eyeballs because everybody's on that forum. Like right now in America, we've been anesthetized and hypnotized into believing that foreign equates to being more valuable. A lot of us have not found ourselves. So a lot of us are attracted to foreign. Like when you listen to a lot of the music, foreign, because they're getting you to think that something foreign. But let something foreign get inside of your body. And you're gonna we're gonna see how much you like foreign. But people don't like using they critical thinking skills. I had plenty more. I went over Ray Ford. I went over Sabril Matias. I went over Ammo Williams. I went over the fact that Bivol and Beterbiev, like, yes, but that's credit for something that we have not gotten yet. I went over Usyk versus Fury, but that's not American boxing. I went over Ngannou versus Fury, but that's not American boxing. I went over AJ and Ngannou, and much as I appreciate it and I salute AJ because I like AJ, that's not American boxing. So at the end of the day, a lot of this shit come down to being binary. Or in football, we call it X's and O's. And because people are enamored and they have so much hope and so much desire, and they want to be part of this tribe and show their loyalty and this and that, they abandon all reason, all logic, and all facts. So just know that your man's Turkey, big turkey bag. He been financing fights that are preventing like American boxing fights. Even when you look at Jared and Bacoli, where Bacoli from? He was from Congo. It ended bad for America. So whether it was because of the fire wasn't up to par, but if you want to look at it like facts versus facts and what's real versus what's not, and what's opinionated, I can go on. I have a journal here of all these things that's been happening. It's up to you to use your brain, your critical thinking skills. And what my man say on Oxford Murderers, and not the passion of man. Because the passion of man will have you doing a whole lot of crazy things. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just asking you to juice your noodle. Understand fact versus fiction. What's real and what's not. What's hate and what's truth. Because now you say anything about facts and, you know what I'm saying, this and this and that, people, oh, you're hating. All right, now, you know, I'm going to leave you with this. The type of boxing fans we have right now are the type of boxing fans that make me question your home life, man. Are you the type that's going, you know, I don't know, man. I'm just asking, man. Can I be candid? Do I got to come off camp? Let me see. It might feel better if I take my face off the screen when I ask you this, so I don't have to look you in your eyeballs when I say this. Like, I'm gonna ask you this question. Listen, are you the type that when you and your lady, y'all do the do, right? And you get done, even if you know you ain't do what you was supposed to do you have the mindset that's like, hey man, you got what you got. That's on you. You ain't get, you know, you got that kind of mindset? Because that's what boxing is coming down to. It's really coming down to where these people that run boxing and say that they run boxing and got this bag and got this power and got this influence and can enamor or anesthetize and entice this boxer to do that. If they can do that, no matter what they put on, no matter what they give us, they just want us to be satisfied. Did that feel a little bit better since I didn't say it to your face? Since I didn't say that to your face, did that sound a little bit better? Was that a little bit easier? Was that a little bit easier medicine? Because was that metaphor quite right for you? We're in a day and time where these people, these guys right here, these guys, and some of it's great, like some of it's good. It's definitely a contribution. It's a contribution, but at the end of the day, these guys are putting on events. And if you say anything about it, if you have any kind of criticism about it, you're hating. Even when it's facts. It's starting to be to where you can't even talk about certain boxers. And if you're not glazing or putting on knee pads or throat coat or tonsil jewelry or wearing a bib or, you know, doing your hand in a circular motion or glizzy glazing, or I'm not like whatever it is you're doing. If you're not doing that, they're saying you're hating. So what they're basically saying is like, basically, boxing is telling us right now, take what we give you, like it or not, shut up and like it. And then you got fake ass boxers telling fans, oh, if you ain't ever put on a set of boxing gloves, you don't know what you're talking about. But then people who put on boxing gloves and give their opinion be wrong all the fucking time. Imagine that. Then you got civilians telling other civilians that they don't know what they talking about because they never put on a set of boxing gloves. But then you busting their favorite boxing analyst's ass when it come down to bets and predictions. But you don't know anything. It's like, stop it, man. Like, we are in an era now. It's just like, it's a certain thing that's going on in TV. And if you have children, you already know what I'm talking about. But it's a certain type of programming that's taking place right now on TV to where if you point it out, you make a big deal about it, you're the problem. And you know you're not. It's just that they're shoving it down your throat. No Diddy. They're basically telling us, listen, man, we about to put on these events. We're going to give these guys bigger bags for lesser ops. And ain't nothing you can do about it. Shut up and like it. And you're not allowed to say anything. That's basically what they're saying. And I'm just telling you to be careful. Why? Because this guy is going around having a measuring stick contest with everybody that he comes across. And he's already showing you what happened. And we have physical record of this happening in another sport, to where when he was done, it folded. So go on, get your money, little duffel bag boy. Go on, get your money. But caveat emptor. Caveat emptor. And I hope, you know what I'm saying, I hope what I'm saying really resonate. I hope it really, I hope it sink down. I hope you really give it some critical thinking. And trust me, I got more examples. I know as soon as I get off here, I'm like, dang, why you ain't bring that example up? It's why? Because I don't believe in overkill. My job is done. It's done. You can be mad. You can try to jack the style, jack the swag. I don't care. It's all about the truth. We shall not be moved, and we will be keeping an eye on everything. And I mean, again, this might be a second part to this. I might come back and double back down, because it's a lot more. But this thing will be like 3-4 hours, man. If I really laid into this and really gave it everything I wanted. I just don't want my message to be misconstrued. I salute these two guys. I'm just saying, let's be fair and honest in our assessment as to whether they're making American boxing great again. I give them a 3 out of 5. They ain't reinserted hope. They gave a lot of bags, but binary X's and O's, they down, man. And they down bad according to the numbers. Just according to the numbers, they down bad, man. It just is what it is. And I told y'all about mathematics. If you don't get it, go back and watch Oxford Murders and holler at your boy. Anyways, man, that's it, man. I've been trying to keep it down to an hour. It's about 1:45. This is what I have, and maybe it's a part 2. Holler at me in my comment section if you want me to come back. Holler at me if you want to go head to head. You want to hash it out. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna do no ignorance. But understand, man, this is all right now. We online. We online talking boxing. Holler at me if you got some smoke or you want something. Anyways, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. We don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.